This year marks 10 years of me bodybuilding seriously, and in today's video I'm going to give you 10 things that I have learned throughout the last 10 years of my journey. And this is coming from someone that has pretty much done it all, okay? So I can give you my honest thoughts, my honest feelings, hopefully educate you guys and give you something to think about if you are making some decisions in your life or the process of bodybuilding. This video, I want it to be the go-to for you to learn and actually go, you know what, this guy is relatable, he is honest, and you know, I'm not going to be around the bush. You know, I've done natural bodybuilding for 7 years, competed in natural bodybuilding, won shows, placed top 3 in Britain. I've done steroids, I've done steroid cycles, I've competed in untested federations and seen all of that aspect, as well as being a university student back in the day when I first started this shit. And as well as that, I've had plenty of ups and downs. I've been someone that has lost relationships throughout this process. I've done it all basically. If you do enjoy today's video, please make sure you like, please make sure you subscribe. So I wanted to quickly dive into why I started bodybuilding in the first place, and it goes back to when I was like 12 years old. So when I was 12, I was around 5'5". I started puberty really young. I started shaving when I was 13. I had the most pubes in school back in the day, because that used to be a weird thing that we used to do back in school with my mates. Kind of weird I'm saying that, but we'll run with it. As I started to get towards 15, 16, 17, I used to be the tallest in my class, but then I used to be the shortest. And I thought to myself, if I can't grow taller being 5'5", I'll grow wider. And that's what I did. I decided to go to the gym because I was like, I want to be bigger, because I was insecure about my height. Now, my values and my reasonings have changed over the years. I'm a lot more content with being 5'5", because unfortunately I can't change that unless I've seen some weird operations that people do that I never would do, to be honest with you. I'm more content now, my values have changed, but that's the reason why I started going to the gym 10 years ago. It was because I was very insecure about my height and everyone was bigger than me, and it made me feel quite insecure. Does Mango want to go for a walk to the park? Should we go for a walk? Yeah. You want to go for a walk? So I'm really loving this orange and mango Tesco's quadruple strength squash that I put into my shaker on a morning walk. And I'll do this a couple times a day, to be honest with you, because it really does help drinking my fluids rather than just getting you know, just tap water in all day. Diesel, speak. Speak. Break. Go, go, go. So you already know what's going down. First walk of the day, get a bit of fresh air, a bit of daylight exposure. So a little update. You guys know that I've been mini cutting now for the last couple of weeks, and this morning I hit 80.8 on the scales, which is a brand new low for me. Now, interestingly, I always feel a new low coming, but this one I didn't. It just came out of nowhere, which is obviously quite surprising. Obviously, I'm very happy about it, don't get me wrong. Made adjustments last week on food, just noticed my scale weight wasn't moving as quickly as what I would like. And I know just from previous experiences, I just need that little kick, and as soon as we make little adjustments to food, my body just responds like that. So I will go through like full day of eating, or give you a bit of a breakdown of where my food is at in some other videos. But for now, we're gonna enjoy this walk with the fam, get a majority of our steps in, and crack on with the day. Nay! Here we go. You get a big chunk for a big boy. Yes, you're a big boy. Here's my son. This one's my favorite. Oh, you fucking bit my finger. Ah, you little bastard, look at that. You're a good boy, you got sharp teeth, ain't ya? You're a big boy. Big boy. This one's my favorite. He's got a big batty boy, big batty boy.
Item block in this slot.
So the first thing that I've learned over the last 10 years is don't be too obsessive about what other people are doing. I used to be very guilty on going on YouTube and searching up, what's Jay Cutler working out today, or what's this person eating today, and I was like following this, and if someone started doing a certain exercise, I would copy it and implement it myself. And whilst I do believe in trial and error, I sometimes believe there's a tipping point. And the comparison I like to use is a lot of these people that you look up to are maybe on their chapter 30 of their bodybuilding journey, and you're still on your chapter 2 or 3. There's a big difference between the two, right? And once you actually start, it almost kind of like disconnects you from your actual own path and your own journey, and everyone's at a different point of their journey. So don't obsess too much about what other people are doing. Do what works best for you, and you will find eventually with more time what will work. But try not go, oh, Jay Cutler's doing that, I need to be doing that. Dorian Yates is doing that, I need to be doing that. This person's doing that, so I need to. Stop getting carried away with those sort of things, okay? Because it will disconnect you from where you are right now. And when I sort of almost kind of like stop copying copying these sort of people, kind of started listening to myself almost. It kind of allowed me to actually see the growth that I wanted, okay? So point number one, don't obsess about what other people are doing. Find what works best for you. And if it is the complete opposite to what others are doing, brilliant. Keep doing it. As long as you enjoy it, keep doing it for as long as you can. So pre-workout meal has actually been reduced. So I've got 90 grams of oats rather than the 100. And the honey that you can't see just underneath this splodge here is down to 15 rather than 30. So yeah, a little bit sad to be honest. This is really complementing my oats at the moment. This is the sweet and salty popcorn flavor from Perform Whey. Really, really, really good. Mixes well as a sludge, mixes well in oats. So my question for this YouTube video, guys, let me know what your favorite whey protein is. I've got a few up there. I've got a Ghost one. I've also got a red velvet one from Whey, but from Perform, but it does taste a little bit artificial. Please let us know in the comments what is your favorite Perform Whey that you use that mixes well in terms of oats or cream of rice or anything like that. I'm keen to try. What I typically do, guys, is I've got my pre-workout in this shaker here. On my intra-workout, which does have EAAs and carbs in there. So what I do is I pour some of my intra-workout into my pre-workout there. And what I also do sometimes, just sometimes, is add some salt into there just to help with the extra pump. So if you want to get a bit of a better pump, add some salt into the mix and thank me later. Eesh. You know what time it is? It is motherfucking gym time. It's the favorite time of the day. As I always say, it's the moment that you look forward to when you wake up, and it is the thing that you think about before you go to bed. So let's fucking go. Come on.
Oh, you sexy bunch.
Sexy bunch. Who are you talking to, bruv?
You.
Bunch.
Put the music in the background.
These glasses have seen better days, that's for sure. I actually wore them and actually forgot that this was like this. Dickhead. Point number 2 of this video is, and I've written it down, there will be highs, there will be lows. So throughout the last 10 years of me doing this shit, I've had plenty of highs and I feel like I'm unstoppable towards the goals. And I've had plenty of lows, plenty of setbacks, plenty of injuries, plenty of self-doubts, plenty of other distractions, plenty of just load. You know what I mean, what I'm trying to say, right? And that's a part of the journey. That's a part of the process. So you've got to learn to embrace the highs, embrace the lows, because unfortunately that is a part of just anyone's journey, really. Be prepared. There are going to be many times, and there's been many years over the last 10 years where I've had injuries and I've had to change my training, or I've had to work around something, or been countless amounts of preps that I've done in bodybuilding, and I've looked at myself and I think I've got no fucking chance, or I don't like the way that I look on certain days. And this is the notes that I wrote. Injuries, mental health struggles, self-doubt, setbacks, I could go on. They're a part of the journey. I've had days where I've questioned absolutely everything, and I've had days where I feel unstoppable. Learn to ride those waves instead of resisting them. That has been a game changer. So, point number 2, ride the fucking wave. Anything you want to add to that?
No, that was said beautifully.
Beautiful. I'm in for legs.
I'm in for upper.
But that's decent, bruv. Decent. Oh, not when you kiss it like that, bruv. Don't do that. Oh, I'm gonna have to edit that out. That's maybe giving me a bit of the ick, bruv. No, it hasn't. You never give me the ick, Vicky. Trust me, you never give me the ick. So, funny enough, this session used to be... I actually made a YouTube video about how much I fucking hated this training session. And guess what?
And fast track. At the end of it either.
Yep, and fast track, what, 6 weeks later? This is probably most of my most enjoyable training session of the week. So, sometimes you've just got to give things a chance, and that could be another point for the video. Give things time. Don't just do it once and go, oh, that's fucking shit. Give it 3 weeks, give it 4 weeks, give it 5 weeks, and sometimes it turns out to be some of the most enjoyable things that you've done. We're gonna head in there, we're gonna fuck shit up, we're gonna show you how we do things on this channel. Come on, fucking move the way you can. Fucking come on.
Look at us in this gym and think, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, I just don't give a fuck.
No.
I just don't give a fuck.
Either.
And I know this sounds so egotistical, the people that always smirk and laugh at what I do, because I've had it over the years, they can't do the shit that I'm doing. They just can't. Because I would love for them to come over and say, look, come and do this set, or come and join in on the RDL, or come and join in on the leg press that I'm doing. They can't. They wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
So it's always the ones.
Or first they ask you, like, why are you doing that for? And then they ask you how. They're the same people that then DM you and ask you for advice or advice for coaching. I had that with girls at school that always used to just fucking bully me, and they inquired for coaching.
Exactly. And then you tell them to fucking do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the girls. Do you remember I told you about that time where I had a YouTube video where I sang and they put it up on the screen in school and everyone was laughing at me?
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're probably watching my YouTube videos, so shut the fuck up.
And when I started making YouTube videos, fucking everyone used to take the piss out of me, and guess what? They ain't my friends anymore. And guess what? I don't give a fuck about them. In the past, they ain't your real friends. Anyway, we're going on absolute waffle there. Let's get in the gym. Let's have a good one. Gym bag essentials for today's session: straps, obviously tripod, camera lens, some liquid chalk as well. This is really, really handy for your RDLs and stuff like that. If anyone's got loads of gym accessories like I do, get yourself a box for your boot. So we've got our squat shoes in here. I've even got the dog leads in here. I've got my yoga blocks. I've got some cuffs in here as well. So get yourself a box for your boot, because it will be really handy. I've got my foam roller, which I'll dump in there as well. So handy just to keep everything in one place rather than it being an absolute fucking mess. For anyone interested in today's training session, we are going to start off with a hyper extension. We're then going to move on to a barbell RDL. We then go on to a lion hamstring curl. We're going to do a glute kickback machine, and then we're going to move on to a single leg press, and then we're going to move on to a leg extension. For anyone interested as well, this is how I fill out my logbook. So as you can see here, all nicely neat, and it allows you to use your pages a little bit more efficiently rather than just having one workout here, another workout here. I can basically have one, two, three, four, 5 training sessions on one page, which saves a lot of paper and saves me buying loads of new logbooks. Welcome to today's voiceover. I hope you are enjoying today's video. Let's continue on with the 10 things that I've learned in the last 10 years. And point number 3 is going to be training hard. Now, a lot of people say that they train hard, but in reality, they don't. They don't train anywhere near as hard as what they need to. And when you're a beginner going to the gym for the first couple of years, you'll make progress doing whatever you want. Basically, you can just lift a dumbbell and just grow. But unfortunately, that novelty then starts to wear off, and then over time you need to start giving more and more and more. So one key thing that you can start doing early on in your journey is learning that skill of training to failure, because honestly, it will skyrocket your growth, or even close to failure. Okay, you don't necessarily need to train to failure every single time. Me, however, as a human, I can't go into the gym and leave things in the tank knowing that I didn't give it my all. Like that just can't like happen in my brain. My brain doesn't work like that. But just train hard. Train hard, push yourself physically and mentally, and it's hard. Like training hard, training to failure is hard. It's as simple as that. And honestly, until I sort of unlocked that after like 4 or 5 years of my training, I then just went like this, and I was like, what have I been missing out over the last couple of years? So yeah, if I had to go back into the first couple of years of me training, I would be pushing myself a lot more via just training hard, regardless of the weight that I was using at that time, whether it was impressive to people, whether it wasn't. Just that beautiness of just sending it no matter how much it was, and just coming out of that and going, that was a tough set. I really did push myself there. But at the end of the day, it's so rewarding as well, like mentally, especially when you get those reps that you didn't think that you would get, and you surprise yourself in that sort of aspect. So that's a real key one for me. Moving on to sort of number 4, and this sort of ties in with number 3, and discomfort is the doorway to change. And what I often say to a lot of people is get used to being uncomfortable, because bodybuilding, whether you are bulking, eating high amounts of calories, pushing yourself in the gym when it comes to training, whether it's being consistent for a long period of time, going through ups and downs like I mentioned earlier, but still ticking your boxes that you need to, it is uncomfortable, right? We go into a fat loss phase, we try and step on stage. It's uncomfortable going down to the low amount of food, the low amount of body fat, you know, the steps, the cardio, all these things. So get used to being uncomfortable. And when you actually think about it and take yourself out of bodybuilding, it relates to everything that you are doing in life. If you're learning a new language, if you're studying for your uni degree, if you're trying to repair whatever it may be, if you're trying to put something together, it's hard, it's uncomfortable, you know. We are, as humans, we do want comfort, But when you start being comfortable with what you are doing, that's where you plateau. So remember, everything that you do, the phase that you go through, there's a level of uncomfortableness. When I step on stage, there's a level of uncomfortableness. When I bulk and have to eat the amount of food that I'm doing and push my body weight up the way that I do, it's uncomfortable. I'm forcing a change for my body. And that is what's going to lead to you growing and getting to where you want to be, okay? So really just make sure that you are spending time being uncomfortable.
So it feels so good to be RDLing again after a really bad injury that I had earlier this year, which actually almost made me bait my whole bodybuilding like journey, career, if you want to call it that. This goes back to my second point about what I mentioned in the car. You're going to have ups and downs. Earlier this year, it was a real down for me. Like I could barely walk and barely get out of bed, barely go to the gym, and it was really disheartening because I was really trying to get stronger at these hip hinges. And once I took a step back and actually realized what the actual issues were, I've been able to work on these issues. So actually learning how to use my core and strengthen my core, actually activating my glutes well. And now I don't have any lower back pain when doing hip hinges. You're going to have ups and downs. I look back at that moment, and when I was present at that moment, I thought it was the end of the world. And it's hard to think about the future in those moments, but one thing that you can do is just be positive and keep working towards being better and doing more. And eventually I look back at that now and I think, why was I even worrying? And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be in the position I'm right now, where I learned from those mistakes, okay? So be open to making those mistakes. There are going to be down times. Just keep moving forward and learn from those mistakes, okay?
Point number 5, you'll never feel like you're done, and that's okay. What I mean by this is you will get to the desired goal that you had when you originally started, but you won't be finished because you will want more. And this is bodybuilding all over. Like if I look back at where I was when I began and thought about the physique that I've got now, I would be over the fucking moon. However, I'm there now. I want more. I want to be bigger. I'm not satisfied yet. And unfortunately in bodybuilding, we did a great podcast, me and my partner Vicky, about body dysmorphia in bodybuilding, of course, or just in general, which I would highly recommend you go watching. I'll put it the link in the description. And no matter how much muscle you put on, there's always something that you want to improve. There's always something that you're not going to like. And what I've learned is that almost kind of not letting the perfection in me stop me from enjoying this process, because sometimes I get to look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, you know, I want bigger lats or this and that. But I'm like, you know what, this isn't perfect, because if someone gave me all the muscle, someone said to me, George, you can have all the muscle and the dream physique that you wanted tomorrow, would you take it? I wouldn't. I simply wouldn't. I would much rather work for it than actually be given it, okay? So one thing that you need to remember, and this is maybe more individually to me, but a lot of you guys can maybe relate to it, is that you may not ever be content with what you are, and you may always want more, and that's okay. So don't put too much stress, because this is where people then fall out of love with it. And I've seen time and time again of people, they're not happy with the way that they're looking. They just then just drop off and they just go back to square one, and they just go around this sort of vicious cycle of the same old shit, okay? So I really want you to remember that aspect of things. And, you know, the thing that I've always said in this situation is the man, there's a quote that I like to run with. It's the man who loves the walk will always walk further than the man who loves the destination. So if you are fixated on looking at that end goal of where you want to look, you won't enjoy it anywhere near as much. If you enjoy the day-to-day process of bodybuilding and doing what needs to be done each day, you will 100% go further than the man who just fixated on getting that six-pack or getting that extra inch in the biceps or quads, whatever it may be. So really focus on that aspect of things, and it really will make a big difference to you and yourself.
So we are moving on to the single leg press. Now, in my opinion, I think you need to be doing some sort of single leg unilateral exercise in your program, just like you would train chest, shoulders, back, do your legs as well, because I used to play a lot of football when I was younger, and I'm left-footed if anyone doesn't know, and I was very left-footed. So if I was on FIFA, I'd probably have like a 2-star weak foot, to be honest with you. I didn't really use my right foot too much until the back end of my playing seasons and things like that. And I've noticed I've had, when I came into bodybuilding, I noticed I had a big imbalance between my left leg and my right leg, not only in strength, but also in muscle size. So it's important to remember that if you want a symmetrical physique, especially if you are wanting to compete in bodybuilding, and especially competing is not just about how much muscle you've got on stage, it's about balance and symmetry. So if you've got one arm, one leg bigger, one lat smaller, and obviously we're not going to be perfectly symmetrical, but it will stand out if you do have big imbalances, and you will get marked down for that. So make sure you do your natural work, okay? So I'm gonna move on to this. This is a fucking hard exercise, but I love fucking killing myself over it.
Point number 6, the more you get into this, the more you have to give. And that's a harsh reality that some people, unfortunately, just can't simply do within their lives, which is actually understandable. And this is why I'm telling you this, is because you need to give more. If you want more out of it, you need to give more. It's as simple as that. It goes with anything that you do in life. And unfortunately, some people are only able to commit to the gym 2-3 times a week because they've got a business to run, they've got a family, they're having a child, they're going through maybe other things that are more of a priority in life, compared to, for example, me, who can commit my whole day to going to the gym whatever time I want, and I can go every single day if I really want to, and spend 3 hours in the gym if I really want to, because that's what I can do. You need to know where your limits are, and unfortunately you will hit a limit in your life, and there will be a point in my life where I'll start to hit a limit where I'll go, you know what, my family are more important than me chasing these physique goals now. I want to focus on this, I want to focus on that. And that, by the way, is totally fine. And some people really struggle with that, and some people get really frustrated. So I think it's important to remember that, yes, of course, you still can make progress going to the gym 3 days a week, 2 times a week, whatever it may be. But unfortunately, you may be a little bit limited with how far you can actually take it, and you've reached that sort of limit in terms of your desired growth in your life. Because the reality is, you can't expect to run a fucking successful business, you can't expect to have a whole family, you can't expect to maybe do other things in your life like travel the world and experience the other things, then, you know, commit to bodybuilding and making a huge, like, you can't do all of that in one go. And so many people try to, but the reality is it just doesn't work. And that's something that you've sometimes got to just almost kind of like a bit of reality check, you know, that, okay, this is how how far I'm going to be able to take my physique. Of course, I may make small improvements here and there, but I can't commit like I was maybe 10-15 years ago when I was 20 and now I'm 40. So that's just something that I want you guys to really bear in mind when it comes to your desired look and your desired goals, because so many people don't take that into consideration. They get frustrated. So if you can be more content with that, with where you are at that sort of limit, you'll grow. Point number 7, if you're looking to just look good on the beach, for Instagram, whatever it may be, day-to-day basis, don't use steroids. Just don't. Like, actually appreciate the hard work and the effort that requires. And so many people nowadays, unfortunately, are jumping on steroids just to look good. Now, if you are competing and you want to reach the highest level possible, then unfortunately, you've got to simply do what you've got to do. If you want to be an IFBB pro, you ain't going to do that naturally. Very rarely do I ever see anyone turn pro as a natural, especially with the standards nowadays. So one thing that I would say straight off the bat is don't do it. For someone who is using assistance right now, there are so many more complications that go into it, more than what you think. And if you value your health, your longevity, if you value other things in your life, then please don't do it, because you will regret it. I'm not saying I regret steroids, I don't regret much in my life, but one thing that I've realized is that it's something that you've got to educate yourself on, and something that is not just a temporary phase in your life, it's a long-term commitment. And you've got to decide what your exit plan is, what you're going to be doing, how you're going to manage your health. You're going to take responsibility almost. And so many youngsters now, 19, 20, they're using these crazy fucking drugs, crazy drugs. So please, if you're just looking to go to the gym and look good, which I know a lot of my audience watch my YouTube videos for, don't bother. Don't bother. Just enjoy the process of natural bodybuilding and just the effort that requires to go into that. Good morning, guys. We are at our lowest weight this morning, which I am really buzzing about. We're moving quite nicely throughout this diet now, so I will record another updated video of the mini cut next video that you see. Today we're actually heading down to train by JP as well, which I'll record that for the next video. So yeah, should be exciting day of recording. And yeah, make sure you keep up to date with the channel and keep subscribing and all that sort of good stuff. So Point number 8, I think I'm at, is comparison kills progress. And what I mean by this is kind of almost like when you start kind of almost like measuring your self-worth based upon others and how others look and how big other people may be, then what happens then is you just sort of almost kind of lose the sort of sight of your own goals and your own journey, and then that leads to then you potentially rushing your own decisions. That then leads to maybe self-doubt, that maybe leads to then unexpected or unrealistic expectations on yourself, which falls down a big spiraling hill. I've been there before, I've done that, and social media nowadays is terrible for it. You go on social media, you're going to see someone who's bigger than you, you're going to see someone looking shredded, you're going to see someone doing some crazy shit in the gym, and you just sort of spiral down there. So my best advice in these sort of situations is you versus you mentality. That's the mentality that I've engraved over the last sort of couple of years, is comparing myself to where I was previously, and whether that's physically, whether that's in the gym in terms of strength, whether that's mentally and where I was a couple of years ago in my mental health. You are making progress. So when you focus on that mentality, it makes a huge difference. And one thing that I've learned to do is don't scroll, like doom scrolling on social media and looking at what other people are doing is only taken away from your own process and your own journey. Does that make sense? So sometimes if you find yourself comparing, just eliminate it, just get rid of it. Just come off Instagram, mute those people that you're maybe triggered by, or unfollow them. Simple as that. Like, I don't really follow too many like big top IFBB pros because it's led me in the past to then obviously compare. The only people that I follow at the moment are anyone that's sort of inspiring to me, that I get motivated by, not in a negative way, if that makes sense. And that's something that you guys can take into your own journey, okay? The 9th point, I think we're at the 9th point now, which is, I think at number 9, I'm just gonna guess it's number 9 to be honest with you. And that is enjoyment is always the number 1 priority when it comes to you making progress. So one thing that I say to anyone is you've got team optimal and you've got team enjoyment, okay? This training plan may be more optimal for you to grow and build more muscle long term, but you don't enjoy it. This is less optimal in terms of the exercise, the split, but it's far more enjoyable on the list. Which one is gonna make more progress? Well, the optimal is probably gonna make more progress long term, right? However, you aren't enjoying it, so you aren't going to commit to it, you aren't going to fucking enjoy it and push yourself the way that you should. Whereas the less optimal and the enjoyable one, you're going to be able to stay consistent with that for a long period of time. And this sort of ties in with number 10. Consistency beats perfection every single time. And if you are consistent with whatever you are doing, you will get the results that you want. It's as simple as that. Like, consistency is the number 1 thing when it comes to bodybuilding. There are many times where there's been something which, you know, is not, there's been many times in my journey where all I've simply done is just been relentless and consistent throughout that process. And that's led to me seeing the most growth that I have. And I've committed to it for a very long period of time. I'm talking years upon years of doing the same thing all the time. And I always say, don't change something if it's not broken, right? And this wasn't broken, I was just progressing. I just kept going, and that led to me making the progress that I want. So number 9 and number 10 sort of really tie into each other. Is enjoyment is always gonna be the number 1 priority for you making the progress that you want versus optimal. And being consistent with that is what's going to lead you to that result. So guys, I really hope you have enjoyed today's YouTube vlog. Comment down below. Fan. It's been very hot recently, so we've had not 1 but 2 fans on throughout the night because I sweat like a fat pig. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm hoping you've taken something from it. If you have, please let us know in the comments. So if there's anything that you've learned throughout your journey, there's Max, there's Mango. If there's anything that you've enjoyed throughout your journey that you want to share or you've learned, then please do in the comments down below, because it will be really good to hear. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and as always guys, I shall see you in the next one.